Hello, gorgeous people. How are we going? Let me know when you join our conversation. Today, we've got a conversation all about sales pages. So a sales page, a lead page is another one that we can talk about, a landing page. These are all just special words describing the same thing. And that same thing is essentially a page that gives your ideal person who is out there waiting for you to provide the information about your thing. Maybe it's an e-course, maybe it's an e-book, maybe it is a package. It might be a webinar that you produced. It might be anything that you want somebody to either exchange their email for or exchange some money for that happens to be online. It's a sales page. Hey, Kirsten, and hey, Kathleen. Hi, anybody else who is joining us. So today we're talking about sales pages. And a sales page is there so that you can convey the information and the feeling of what it's like for that person to own the thing that you're selling from that page. Kirsten or Kathleen, have you thought about a product that you want to sell or a package, or is there anything that you guys are considering selling right now, or you might have created a workshop or something like that? And anybody else who is joining us, have you created something that you would love for the public to be able to see it on one page? Anybody? I am in the midst of creating yet another course, which is very exciting. And I am spending the time right now focusing in on what's going to be on the sales page. Because it's really, creating the best course in the world is awesome, except if nobody buys it, it sucks. And I created the best course in the world a couple of years ago. I created my first e-course. I spent thousands, like $8,000. Videographers, I had a producer, I had some lady who was helping me do all this stuff. I had a whole website. So I've spent all this money creating this e-course, right? And then I didn't spend any on marketing it. I didn't even share the sales page, let alone really think about what I needed to put in the sales page. Next time round that I created a webinar, I then followed through and created some more trainings. I then followed through and spent the time that I really needed to get across what the actual webinar was about, how it would actually make the person feel, how it would change how they're doing things, how it would solve the problem that they have. And it's a very different thing to give those types of benefits and have that kind of conversation that you would naturally kind of have, rather than trying to sell it based on the facts and the facts and the facts of it being a 90-minute webinar, and you're going to get information on whatever condition I'm talking about, and then it costs this much money. When that happens, we don't get the same kind of traction. Instead, I wanted to go through the top 10 things that you can put on your sales page that are going to help it get the attraction that you need, apart from you sharing it out and making sure that people see it and it's visible, but also making sure that you have the information that you require on there that will actually move somebody to press the button. Kirsten, you've got an ebook out. Beautiful. The first time I put an ebook up, I went, ebook, information about adrenal fatigue, sign here. None of that helps me as a human being. If I was going to put my email in, none of it helps me as a human being make a decision whether or not that's going to make me feel better or not. It just gives me the facts. Now, facts are really dry and clinical, whereas having information on a sales page that is benefit driven is going to change it. So we'll get into that in a sec. Kathleen, a brain health package. Ooh, that sounds juicy. I love that. So packages of the same have a similar kind of thing. We've got to make sure that we're getting those the last video we talked a lot about mental triggers. We talked about the way that people think and then the way that they change, the things that motivate people to change, motivate people to actually book in with you, or motivate people to actually choose to follow through. I just started with a personal trainer, and some of those mental triggers were the things that got me to actually move and change and continue to show up at 6:30 in the morning when it's dark, right? So some of that we talked about in the last video, and if you haven't checked it out, it's on my YouTube channel. And in that, we talked about the different triggers. Now, different triggers are fine, but there is a process that people go through that we're used to actually reading, and you might not even be aware of it, that you're reading sales pages all the time. If you've ever booked to go to an event on the internet, you've read a sales page. If you've ever booked for a course, you've read a sales page. If you've ever booked for, even if you have bought an online book, you've read a sales page. So this is the type of typical information that we are creating mental triggers for people so that they notice, oh, I do that. Maybe that is the problem that I have. I recognize that in me. Maybe this person has the solution. So number one is a title. A title is something that we want to make sure that people are going to hook into somebody's brain. It's going to capture their attention, and they're immediately going to identify whether it's you, whether it's that person that you're talking to, or whether it isn't for them. So making sure that you are creating a hook, creating something that will be noticed by the ideal client that you have, that you want to join your program, your workshop, your retreat, your ebook, buy your book, whatever it happens to be. So this is where the ideal client work comes in. And I've done another video on ideal clients before, and I've even got a download on my tammyguest.com/resources page for your ideal client. So taking the time to hook in to two sides of your ideal client. The first hook will be their biggest fear. So the biggest fear for one of my old programs was I called it Psycho Mum to Fun Mum, because only my ideal client would go, oh yeah, I totally identify as a psycho mum. I don't want to be psycho mum anymore. I want to go back to being the fun mum. But other people didn't identify with that. So it's their biggest fear that they're the psycho mum, and it's their biggest inspiration that they're the fun mum. So the hook there was psycho mum to fun mum. And it might be, it really depends on who your target market is as to what your hook is going to be. But the two sides of the coin is, one is the biggest fear, and the other one is the biggest inspiration or aspirational thing, the biggest thing that they look forward to doing, what they want to get out of your thing. So yes, so that'll be your title. It needs to be a hook. People are 70% more likely to shift and change and move on something if they are motivated by the fear of that happening, versus 30% if they're just inspired by it, but they'll do it tomorrow. So when you are choosing a hook, you'll notice, even on the internet, when you're looking at things, you'll be more motivated by the fear factor of clicking on something, or the scare factor, than you actually will by the things that are inspiring you. Even though, like, I'm an optimistic person, and I would like to think that that's not true, but I've seen it time and time again, and there's also some really good statistical data on that. Okay, so number one, heading. Number two, you have to meet the person where they're at. Now, this whole process is very similar to a process that I noticed I was doing with my clients while they were in with me one-on-one in my clinic as well. You know, first you go, okay, so today's about, and you look through their client case taking form, and you kind of give it a theme. You know, you give it that heading. Oh, today's about, oh, you're really interested in weight loss and your skin getting clear. Awesome. So there's a hook. And then there's where are you at? So where are you at is really knuckling down on what it truly feels like to be stuck where they are at. The people that I was able to help the best were the ones that really identified how much pain their body and their cells were going through. Now, I had the advantage of using live blood screening at the time, live blood analysis. And my background's in pathology. So I was really able to describe what that person's cells were going through and what the possibilities were going to be if they did nothing moving forward. So when you're really sitting with your ideal client, and you were writing this out for your sales page, what you want to be doing is, okay, so you've tried to fix this before. You know, if we're talking about diabetes, again, I use different examples, but diabetes is an example. Okay, so it seems that you've tried to stop this before. It seems you've been going to the doctors for a long time, and you know, enough that you've got a sequence of HbA1c results and you've got a sequence of glucose results that are obviously steering in the wrong direction. So you've tried this before. Maybe you're running a thyroid thing and you're like, you've tried to lose that weight. You've tried to ask the doctor about your test results. But it hasn't worked before because it hasn't worked before. So for my diabetes pre-diabetic clients, often it's because they didn't have a lot of accountability, you know, because they didn't have a lot of support in their household. Somebody else was drinking Coca-Cola and, you know, eating cheesecake on the weekend. And every time they tried to do it, they didn't have that support. So if you were running the diabetes style program and you had the group support, then you'd be able to, you know, get that across the line at the beginning. So we're talking about you've tried this before. This is where you're at. You are exhausted. You are tired. You are worried about your weight. You're worried this won't change. You know, truly get into their shoes. And again, this bit is a bit icky for us optimistic, positive types of people. You know, we want everything to be beautiful, happy, la la la, you know, unicorns and rainbows. And we'll get to that. It's just first, you've really got to let people understand that the thing that they are living with, the pain that they are living with is real, and you acknowledge where they are at. So you've tried this before, but it didn't work because, and there is another way. There's your easy prompts. If you're, you know, if you're just looking for the juice and the nuggets, you've tried this before for this problem. This is how you feel. This is why it didn't work. And there is another way, right? So that's number 2. Then number 3 is you identify the ideal. So what does an ideal look like? So we did the dark bit. We did the acknowledgement of how their cells are actually functioning, how they're actually feeling, how they are actually heard for what is going on for them. And then we do the ideal. Now, the ideal, again, if you are diving deep into your target market, you'll know that there's some nuances around the ideal. People don't just want to be happy and healthy, even though that's very nice, but people are going to identify, you know, we scroll Instagram and go, oh, happy, healthy, happy, healthy, happy, healthy, and inspirational quote. You know, those types of things don't necessarily motivate us to change. They're not going to make us click all the time. That's just going to kind of disappear in a sea of stuff. So your ideal is more about, imagine what your life could be like in a couple of months after this program. Imagine a time when you don't have to wake up 6 times a night in a ball of sweats. Imagine a time when you can run around with your kids and not have to be puffed out. Imagine what it feels like to have a clear head that you have the possibility of winning Worker of the Month at your real estate agency. Like, it really depends on who your target market is, but you want to imagine their aspiration, not the one that you have for them. You know, it's really easy for us as prackies to go, oh yeah, you know, this person comes in with type 2 diabetes, you know, pre-diabetic state, and we're like, oh, imagine never having to worry about the possibility of hypertension again. We might think, oh yes, great, you're decreasing your risk of cardiovascular disease. But that's in practitioner speak. We want to get into their shoes and imagine what they would actually really like. And then anything that they are doing with you, whether it's an ebook, an e-course, it's going to get them incrementally towards that if they follow that through. So we want to head them in that direction. Even if it's a 1 degree change from reading your thing, then you are heading them in that direction. You're not standing there going, I promise you that I will get you, you're just giving them an insight that if they choose, they have the possibility of heading towards that direction. All right. So that is number 3, your ideal. So we want to paint a picture of what the ideal looks like, and we want to make sure that it is specific for those particular people who are interested in our thing. Now, one of the questions that I am hearing from you, and you might not even be typing in, but if you do have any questions, please let me know. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Charlene. Hey, Alison, and Katie, who have just joined us. If you have a question, just let me know. And yeah, one of the questions that I often get asked is, but I don't know who my ideal, what if my thing is for everybody? That's cool, but there's going to be a particular favorite person that you would love to read your ebook, or a particular favorite person that you would love that would come along for your e-course, that is just going to lap it up, is going to be a rock star, is going to, do the things you ask them to do, and is going to have the changes that that their cells can go through, or that their brain can go through, or that they can have in their family life. And it's those ones that you want to talk to on your sales page, not to everybody, because again, you can't stand out in a sea of I want to help everybody unless you are really specific with the things that are going on for your particular client, your particular favorite client. Cool. So yeah, hopefully that alleviates some people who are worried that they are going to have everybody as their target market. Okay, so heading is number 1. Meet them where they're at. Number 2. Number 3 is paint the ideal. Number 4 is why will this work? So the why will this work is often in the sales pages that we might see on the internet. We might be looking at things like testimonials, or we might be looking at all different things. You'll be able to see why this works. Oh, it's because of this scientific article, or it might be because of whatever. In this case, because we are natural therapists, because we are in that beautiful gray zone, if you can give a case study. So a case study is different to a testimonial, right? A case study is outlining X, Y, Z for one particular person and their particular results. And as long as you have an asterisk specifically saying results are not typical, because we can't guarantee that for everybody, right? But if we have a case study that a person who has gone through your process, or who has applied some of the things that are in your ebook, or who has heard you speak or do something interesting, and what they got out of it, their gold nugget, it's the perfect place for it, because then somebody can identify in themselves why it might work for them as well. Because, I'm a female who, is the main breadwinner of the household, who's very stressed and often has kids, and so is this person in here, so is this case study. So maybe it'll work for me too. So it's really important to get the why this will work, and I think a case study is one of the best ways of doing that, because you're not saying a generalized statement for everybody, which we're not allowed to say, especially in the health kind of zone, because it's in that gray area. We're not getting testimonials, because that can be a little bit gray and a little bit iffy, even though I'm not going to get into that, but a case study is the best way of doing it. All right, so that's number 4. Number 5 is very similar, but it's the statistics. Now, some of us have a brain that is looking for the visual, and we look for the visual first. The visual people are really quick, and that's why PowerPoint presentations work so well with visual people, because they can see it and they can process that information quite quickly. When you are describing that ideal back at step number 3, you're talking to the visual people, you're painting a picture for them. Now we're at step number 5, we're talking to the auditory people. The auditory people weren't listening except for the heading. They were getting a hook from what you were saying. They were getting a hook from that first piece of information, because they were hearing what it's like for them in that. Down at number 5, we want a statistic. We want to hit them hard with something that's impactful. So I've seen a couple of our clubsters using statistics on social media, and it is really impactful. Did you know this amount of people are affected by endometriosis? Did you know that every day this amount of people are being diagnosed with such and such? Did you know that chronic disease kills this many people? Did you know, whatever it happens to be around the topic that you are giving, you need a statistic. Now, statistics can be found everywhere. The Bureau of Statistics has a lot of information. The World Health Organization also has a lot of information specifically around statistics to do with health. So you can go and find some type of statistic that'll stand out on your sales page that will hook those people who are listening for those little gold nuggets of numbers and information rather than the feeling, and who are auditory, who are looking for the hook. So the truth is XYZ statistic is happening for the particular problem that I'm talking about. Cool. All right. Carly, do you write a sales page on a platform? Great question. This, I would suggest writing in a Word document. When you are creating your sales page, it is as simple as writing one big page of writing. One big page of writing. Then you can transfer that in multiple different places, and you can take out chunks of it and share those chunks on different places and different platforms, like your social media platforms, like your newsletter, like a blog post, like you might want to share it as part of answering somebody's question on a page or something else. So when you're creating the sales page from the beginning, you just write it in one big long Word document, and then the best place for it is to have your sales page on your website. Primary place is to have it on your website. A sales page doesn't have clicks, external clicks, so it doesn't have a way of going anywhere else. You just want people to focus on the only thing on that page is the button at the bottom where they have to press to buy it now. There shouldn't be anything distracting from the buy now button. So there shouldn't be little side bits or a menu bar up the top. It actually sits all by itself. If you've got WordPress, there are different ways to do that. If you've got, any platform, there's different ways to create either a sales page, landing page, or lead page, and they're all the same thing, except sales pages have a buy now button. A lead page captures leads usually, which is an email, and a landing page collecting information and pressing to a buy cart. So the ideal place to have it is on your website. Now, if you do not have a website, you've got two options that are free, because I know you guys are all into the free stuff. So two options that are free. One is MailChimp now has lead pages or landing pages that you can create. They're super basic though. So this information that I'm giving you to give you a whole sales page worth of copy. Copy is the special words that you use to help sell on that page. That won't fit on a MailChimp landing page. So you have to take out the gold nuggets, the bits that are going to stand out the most, and then you're able to utilize that as a page. The other option, other than MailChimp, is lead pages. Now, lead pages costs money, but you can have it for a short period of time while something like your website is being looked after or while it's being created. So lead pages, I've had lead pages for years, and I use it because I create a lot of things quite quickly. I get an idea and then I'll pop a lead page up, and people are then able to either buy or pop their email in. And if people are really interested in it, then I'll go and put it on my website. If they're not, then it's just a matter of taking that down. So that's lead pages. Lead pages integrates with everything. So you can buy and shopping cart and do all sorts of things on there as well. And you can have MailChimp connected to it, so you can automatically download as well. If that was a whole bunch of different language to you, that's totally okay. I am wherever you are at with your sales page is totally cool, but I'd suggest writing it all in one page to begin with. Okay, hopefully that was helpful, Carly. All right. Okay. Kirsten, when you write a statistic, do you need to include where you got it from? Yes, preferably, but it depends on your target market. Some people are really, if you're selling, especially to other practitioners, 100%, yes. It's very simple to put a citation at the bottom of the page. You can have a little asterisk and make sure that people know where it's from. But it, again, depends on your target market. If it's a well-known fact, then yeah. Okay, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to statistics. 10 pieces for your sales page. You ready? All right, number 6. This is the juiciest bit. This is a really important bit, and it's a bit that I see time and time again from naturepreneurs, including myself, that have sales pages that fail. Sales pages that don't sell anything for them. Now, it's the little discrepancy between facts and benefits. Now, the vast majority of us as practitioners and learners and students are dot point extraordinaires, and we want the facts. It's 90 minutes, the facts. It's recorded, the facts. It's a PDF download that is 6 pages long, the facts. You will learn about this condition, the facts. At the end of it, you will get 6 accreditation points, right? Those things are content, the content. The context that you put them in is very different. The context is something that will sell and convert. The content, you all have a huge amount of very extraordinary, very up-to-date, amazing information, or that is even, experientially being used with so many of your clients. If you're a really experienced practitioner, if you're a new practitioner, it's the most up-to-date information you've got. The information, the content is going to be gold. You're going to be doing your best to create the best information for people, right? You've actually got that covered. But the context that you put it in for somebody to actually digest that information, that's the bit that we're not really good at. This is the bit that marketers are extraordinary at. And so the big thing here is how can we take that fact and then put it into the context of how that's useful and beneficial for the person that's about to see it. Now, 90 minutes. Short, concise, to the point. Everybody is time poor. We want to know if we can do it faster, quicker, easier, and cheaper. And if you, in this benefits area, find a way that is faster for people to get this information, and if you've created an e-course on a health condition, you've spent 4 years of your qualification, and possibly longer, either with that condition yourself or experiencing. So you've spent 4 years researching this condition and everything else to do around that condition with the human body. And you're actually going to save them 4 years worth of trying to find that information from somewhere else. How are you going to do it cheaper? Well, in actual fact, e-courses, e-books, anything online is generally going to be cheaper than somebody coming and seeing you for an extended period of time. So you are going to be doing it cheaper and easier. It depends on how you've created it, but if all they have to do is listen to an audio while they're doing their washing up, or if they're watching a video, then you're making it much easier than having to read a super big textbook. Right? So how can you relay that information that it's beneficial for them to actually do the 90 minutes of video? Then if you've got a PDF download, how can you make that beneficial? 6 amazing pages of easily digestible information that's available to you at any time with a super easy checklist so that it saves you time and you're not having to look for XYZ. Can you see how you can create it to be a benefit rather than it's going to be a fact of a PDF download, right? Then what do we have? Accountability in a group. So not just a group. You want to be making sure that the benefit, the context that you put it in, that they've got accountability, that they don't have to depend on their partner who is not on this journey with them anymore, because they're going to be surrounded by a whole bunch of like-minded people that are going through this weight loss journey together. See how there's a benefit and a context rather than Facebook group. Okay, hopefully this is beneficial. Let me know if it is. That'd be great. Or you've all gone to sleep because it's all marketing speak and we're going la, 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 la. Business, 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 numbers, numbers, numbers. No? We're all here? Okay, cool. All right. So benefits. All right, for you guys who are, again, looking for the easy, quick fix, here is some little 3 or 4 sentences that'll get you over the line. Benefits can be an easy statement like, you'll leave with blah, 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 so that you can blah, blah, blah. Yep. You'll leave with an amazing checklist so that you can easily get the information on the front of your fridge whenever you need it, right? You'll leave with 6 hours of incredible, useful content about the thyroid that you've never heard before, so that you can be empowered to speak to your doctor next time about your tests. Yeah, right? You'll leave with so you can. Number 2 is the best way to da-da-da, even if da-da-da. The best way to decrease your HbA1c, even if it's never happened for you before. The best way to get a glucose result less than 5.5, even if you are, even if you don't want to exercise. All right. So the best way to even if. And the other one is the best way to even if you don't have. Yeah. So the best way to lose 5 kilos, even if you don't have, time. The best way to cleanse, even if you don't have a juicer. The best way to get your thyroid test results in a normal range, even if you don't have money. All right. So there's that sentence. Okay, last one. How to blah, 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 so that you never have to da, da, da. How to clean your house so that you never have to dust again. How to get rid of mold so that you never have to worry about mold related conditions ever again, right? How to, so you never have to. Yeah. So can you see how these are benefit driven, and they're inkling on that idea of the things that people are really worried about. And again, you have to stand into the shoes of your ideal client. All right. Okie dokie. Benefits. Sweet. That's number 6. Number 7. Then you're putting in bonuses. So bonuses are so that people take action straight away. It is way too easy. And you might have done it. I've definitely done it. And I've seen it time and time again. When people really want to change and they're really motivated and they really get it and they really want your thing, and then they go, oh, I'll do that next week. Or, like this personal trainer, right? I've been thinking about this since the beginning of the year. There's even people in the group here that I've been like, oh, can you be my yoga accountability buddy? And then snuck off and not done my yoga, right? So I've been thinking about it since January, and I haven't done anything about it until 2 weeks ago when I contacted 5 different personal trainers, finally. But it was so easy for me to go, Oh, next week. Oh, I'll do my yoga. I'll do my other thing. And then I just wouldn't get it done. But I was motivated to change. I just wasn't enough to get me across the line. Now, I contacted 5 personal trainers. 3 of them got back to me. Another business talk about that. You need to get back to people. And I am not immune to it as well. I do exactly the same thing. But yeah, so 3 people got back to me. And of those 3, 2 of them did. 2 of them sent me a quote, and the 3rd one sent me one with a bonus massage and a bonus yin yoga class as well. And it was like, oh, okay, I'll do that now, because there was a bonus. There was a reason for me to go, oh, okay, there's something a little bit different that stands out. Now, for you in your courses, your workshops, whatever it happens to be, it could be something simple like a tea bag with your details on it. It might be something that's in alignment with you. It might be 10% off voucher for the next, products that they buy from you. It might be a buy one, get one free for something voucher. It might be a downloadable ebook. It might be a bonus PDF checklist. It might be a self-assessment questionnaire. Whatever it happens to be, there might be a bonus specifically for people who sign up then, for them to click it then, so that they are motivated to actually do it then, and they don't get 6 months down the track like I am right now going, wow, imagine if I'd have actually done something back in January. Wow, probably would have fitted into that dress I've got to wear for that next function I'm going to, right? So what is a bonus for them that will get them even more motivated to download your thing, buy it, do whatever it happens to be. All right, so the bonuses come after the benefits, because benefits are making people go, oh, I can do it even though I don't have any time. Oh, I can do it even though I don't have the energy to do it. Oh, I can do it even though it hasn't worked before for me. And then they're like, oh, I can do it even though there's that, because there's all this other bonus stuff. Cool. Then you do the facts. Now, this is the thing. I have also done this. I have gone, here's my thing, here's the facts, buy button. You might even go to my website, and there might also be like some of my resources, I think, because I talk about them to everybody in other ways. I'm pretty sure I don't have the benefits of downloading some of these things. So that is one way of doing it. It just doesn't convert very well. And there's a lot of marketing data based on this. And so instead, your facts are way down the bottom at number 7. Yes, number 7. Facts are way down there. Now, a fact is, it's a 90-minute webinar. It's recorded. It's available until December 2019. There is a 6-page PDF download, and I don't know, whatever else is on there, but it's the facts. It's a 6-week course. There's 6 weeks worth of content. There's 2 live calls, and there is a 30-minute free consultation with me. Yeah. So it's the facts. That is way down the bottom, not up the top, not just under the heading. Cool. So here's how it works is usually the start of it. Here's how it works. We have a phone call every week. You have $500 worth of product. You have access to a secret Facebook group, and you have weekly emails in your inbox. Yep, that's the facts. None of that says benefit. That's the facts. So it's way down there. Then we've got a statement of, if you've tried this on your own, it would cost XYZ. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it would cost money. So if you tried this on your own, it could cost up to $100,000, which is what I spent on my 2 university degrees to get this information in the first place, right? So that's money. If you did this on your own, it could cost you energy. It could cost you time. It could cost you your health, because you're getting information that isn't in alignment. It might be people who are unqualified giving you this information. So it could cost you actually a really big deal with your health. So if you tried it by yourself, it could take you 6 months to figure this out, or it could take you however long. But I've got it in a 6-week course for you. So you want to tell them about what it's going to cost them if they're trying to fumble around and figure out this stuff for themselves. Now, if I just think about my adrenally fatigued clients, they were always, they had been trying it by themselves for 3 years prior to coming and seeing me. A lot of them had been tired for years, exhausted for years. They'd been trying, I quit sugar. They'd been trying, CrossFit and not losing weight. They'd been trying, detoxes and things like that, but their cortisol levels were so flat that if they were doing it by themselves, it would literally take them years, cost them years, and it would cost them more of their health and more of their energy not to actually do it in a way that I already knew could work within about 12 weeks. So you've got to be really clear for them about what it's going to cost them. And it's not because you're coming from the intention of I want to sell stuff, because it's actually going to cost them that. If they don't do something about the thing that they are complaining about, they don't do something about the symptoms and the signs and the messages their bodies are giving them, then it's going to cost them in the long run. And you've got to clearly state that underneath the facts. Because once you've gone, this is what you get, they're then going to come up with objections as to why they can't make the change now. One of those is it's going to cost you, and they don't recognize that. The next one is frequently asked questions. So often you've got to overcome objections straight away. And again, they're money, time, ease. Money, time, ease. And the other one's things like tech. Money, time, ease, tech. And then the vast majority, it's because they're looking at your page because they are actually interested in changing something about them. But these things are going to come up that are going to be internal dialogues that they've had for a long time. And so you've got to overcome that straight away. And we've talked about this on my packages and programs video, and we've talked about it on a couple of different videos, that those big ones, particularly about money, can be overcome by having payment programs. Now, there's really cool stuff out there now, like Afterpay. There is also, because Afterpay is useful for products, it's just not useful for services. So if you have an online product, you can still use Afterpay. So you can also use Easy Debit. You can also use Stripe subscriptions. You can also use, if you've got a WordPress website, WooCommerce talks to Stripe, and then you can do it that way. If you can also use even PayPal subscriptions if you've got a business PayPal account. So there are ways that you can overcome the objection of money by breaking it down and making it easy for people to pay. If it's a time thing, make sure that your things are recorded and it's available to them at any point in time. If it's it hasn't worked before because I didn't have an accountability partner, make sure that there's a group available for them to be able to get the support that they need. If it's and this is why it's so important to know your ideal client, because those objections are going to come up straight away. If it is a time thing, yeah, we did time. And if it's an ease thing, so make sure that your things aren't just a written transcript that people have to read. Make sure they're available in video or audio so that different people can access that information with ease. Cool? All right. So overcoming the objections, frequently asked questions. Next one is a sentence along the lines of, unlike other programs, we. Now this isn't, I don't use this one a lot because I like the idea of running my own race, staying in my own lane and not actually looking at what other people are doing. Because comparisonitis can hit the best of us. And if you are running in your own lane, you don't have to worry about what other programs do or don't do. But if you're already noticing other products around, if you're already noticing other books around about the same topic that you have created an e-course, a program, a book, a workshop about, then notice the things that aren't available in those things and state them here. So unlike other programs, we have a support group especially made so that because we know that you are more likely to follow through with your sugar, decreasing your sugar if you've got other people around you, even if the people in your family aren't supporting you and they're still eating rubbish all the time. Unlike other programs, we have a 30-minute consultation, so it's individualized, unlike other programs. So see how yours stands out around the things that you may have already taken notice of. Cool? All right, and then the last one, number 10, is a call to action. Now, a call to action is a powerful moment of, here is the button, book now, buy now, change your life now, choose change now. But it's a button, it's really obvious, and underneath it, you've got your terms and conditions. Now, there is some laws if you're selling things over to the European Union. So if you're selling an online product to the European Union, you've got to have a little checkbox, a little tick box that people have actually read your terms and conditions. In Australia, we just have to have the terms and conditions available and make sure that they're right there. So you need a hyperlink specifically with your terms and conditions underneath it, so that people are aware that if you go out of business, if you happen to pass away, if your server goes down, if for whatever reasons, the expectation's on you, and then if they don't end up paying all of the payments, if they don't end up utilizing the services, how long they've got before they can get a refund, if a refund is available, that kind of information is in your terms and conditions. So I've also had done another video on legals, and it's available on my YouTube channel. So call to action, a powerful message to be able to let people to click there now. And your call to action is also that you get the bonuses now. You've got to make sure that you're reminding people that if they do that now, they get a chance for this other opportunity that might not have been available if they didn't click now. Cool? Alrighty. So, okay, we've got a couple of questions. So that's it. That's your 10. Number 1, heading, powerful hook. Number 2, meet them where they're at. Make sure that you are acknowledging what's going on for them at the moment, even if it's dark and even if it's a little bit difficult. Number 3, their ideal, what their ideal life looks like. Paint the picture. Number 4, why this will work. Give a case study or something similar. Number 5 is stats for those people that are hooked by big, obvious statistics. Number 6 is the benefits, and I gave you 4 examples of sentences that you could just literally copy. Number 7 is listing your bonuses, so time limited or limited bonuses if they are to click the button now. What have we got? 7 is facts, so where the things that are available for them. Here is how it works. ... Then we had the little sentence of, if you've tried this on your own, it would cost money, time, experience, energy. Then we got number 9 is the frequently asked questions or overcoming objections. And then we had our little bonus sentence of, unlike other programs, we blah, blah, blah. And number 10 is your powerful call to action. All right, the little bonus, I love a little surprise at the end. Your little bonus is, you can make the most beautiful sales page in all the world that is spot on for your target market. But if your target market doesn't see it, then you're not going to sell any. So don't hide your sales page. You need to share it with 10 places. Yes, it's a challenge. Yes, you'll freak out. Yes, it'll bring up all sorts of stuff. But in the end, all you're doing is literally sharing a page. It's not the end of the world. No one has to click on it. You just have to offer it up so that you let somebody else know about it. And even if it's not for them, they might have the chance to tell somebody else about it that it is for. And because you spent so much time on this message, it's really obvious straight away who is going to benefit from this page. So you have to share it in 10 places and then see what happens. Now, those 10 places can be Facebook groups, they can be Facebook page, they can be in person, they could be on the back of your business card, they could be your next BNI meeting, they could be through a newsletter, they could be through a pamphlet, they could be anywhere, right? We're not going to get into that, but share it. Don't hide and keep this thing to yourself, because the reason that you created this thing in the first place was to help more people. And the more people who see it, you have a chance to help more people. All right. So I'm going to answer a couple of questions now. And what have we got? Amy, so you're giving pros and cons with the cost. Yes, you are giving pros and cons with the cost. Definitely. You're giving pros and cons throughout the entire thing. And it's something that we are so not used to doing as practitioners. The vast majority of us are up for the optimistic perspective. We are kind of hardwired to turn things into a positive. But unless we acknowledge the cons, unless we acknowledge the dark side, unless we acknowledge the pain points, then we're not going to get the same type of motivation for the people who are reading it. Focusing on the impact. Yes, Amy. Katie, so will Afterpay consider an online course with consults and sups a product? The consults part of it is a service, so not that I am aware of, Katie. Alison, share is the new word of mouth. Yes, it is. Except our mouths are not only in person, they are also digital. And it's, and there's so many different ways, Alison. I've literally just started using Instagram stories. I was inspired by one of our clubsters who has been doing Instagram, Your Health Options. She's been doing some amazing Instagram TV, so go and check her out if you want to be inspired by a naturopreneur. And Chelsea was doing, Instagram's IGTV, and I'd already put it up, and then I was going to start to do it, and then I was like, oh, all my stuff came up, same as you guys. So I've just started doing Instagram stories as a little lead in to doing IGTV. And it's a new word of mouth, and every different platform has a different kind of little texture to it. So even Instagram stories has a different texture to just Instagram pictures. And I've been doing Instagram pictures for a long time. You can see me at Tammy Guests with an S on the end on Instagram. And but the Instagram stories has this really a much more private feel, because you get to see people during the day. And so if you're sharing word of mouth on there that your next e-course is coming up, or you've been working on your e-course, or you can't wait, there's a countdown on for it, people are going to be hearing through that word of mouth, even though it's digital, and even though it's a little bit more personal than they are through an official letter, through a referral partner, or down the road over the, over your shopping cart, telling somebody that that's what you're doing. But yeah, totally, Alison. Sharing is word of mouth. I like that thought. All right, cool. As usual, my invitation to you guys is, what can you take action on today? And if not today, in the next couple of days, specifically on what you are offering the world or what you want to offer. You don't even have to have your offer out, but if you're inspired by this conversation and you want to create something, go and have a little practice. It can take as short, if you're in full inspiration mode, it can take as short as half an hour to write a sales page, right? And then you get into the flow of it and you get into practice. And at first it's going to feel a little bit different, because it is different. We aren't taught marketing as practitioners. But if you get used to talking in a way that is benefit-driven, in context-driven rather than content and fact-driven, then you're going to start to create conversations either through your website, through social media or other places that are motivating for people to change or to click on your next thing. If you are currently creating or you have created, go to your sales page right now and do one thing that you heard today. Change that one thing and see what difference it'll make. And if you got something out of this and you know somebody else who would probably get something out of this too, or who is in need of this information, please, if it resonated, share it. Because the more people that we can help, the more practitioners that can actually get their message out in a way that is going to change people's minds about their health and their well-being, and they're actually going to take action and learn the thing they need to learn, do the thing they need to do. do the e-course, do the workshop, do the webinar, so that they can actually get that information enough that they'll make a change. We can then create the change for the rest of the planet on their health. And it can be through you or through the person that, you know, you share this with. So please, please, please share it. And please, please, please go and do something to your sales page, lead page, or landing page today and see what happens. All right. It's been awesome talking to you guys for another Training Thursday, and I will catch you next week. See you later. Bye.